Hello, folks. I am Nick Burgess. We're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to let it just give people just a couple more minutes to join us, and then we'll get started and talk about some improvements that are happening here in North Liberty. Today, we're talking about Forevergreen Road and Jasper Avenue. Let's give us just another minute. All right, well, let's get started. Again, thank you for coming today. I'm Nick Burgess. I'm the City of North Liberty's Community Relations Director. This construction season, which will get underway shortly, particularly if we have weather like this, and will last until it snows in the late fall in November. We'll bring improvements to Forevergreen Road and Jasper Avenue, as well as the next phase of Centennial Park development with a splash pad. And we're also finalizing designs for Ranch Out Way, the Cherry Street Firehouse, and more. So we're going to talk through a few of these projects that are both going to be in construction this season, as well as things that are currently in design and that we get lots of questions about. First, if we could just have the staff on the call, introduce themselves real quick, we'll go from there. We'll start with you, Michael. That was the least helpful. That's like a joke, right? We've got two Michaels and I just pointed to one of them. Go ahead, Mr. Pentecost.
Okay. Hi, my name is Michael Pentecost. I'm the street superintendent for the city of North Liberty.
Josiah?
Hello, my name is Josiah Bilskemper. I work for Shive Hattery as an engineer, but I'm also the city engineer for North Liberty.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Janacek.
I'm Mike Janacek with Shive Hattery, civil engineer on some of the projects that we'll be talking about this week.
Wonderful. Mr. Radcliffe, would it be helpful to introduce yourself here?
Yes, I'm Nick Radcliffe, and I also have worked on several of these projects, and I'm a civil engineer as well. So
wonderful. If you folks have questions as we go, there is a little Q&A box that you should have access to. We'll have a space for questions at the end, but go ahead and drop questions in there as you need to. Here's a quick overview of the projects that we will be talking about this week. We've got these meetings every noon on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So today, obviously, we are talking about Forevergreen Road and Jasper Avenue down in the southwest portion at our border with Coralville, Johnson County, and the City of Tiffin. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the final phase of Ranch Out Way, which is obviously to the city limits there to the south central part of North Liberty. On Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the Centennial Park splash pad, which will be right there next to the Hy-Vee Center and Amphitheater. And we'll start this start this spring. We're also going to talk a little bit about the community center, the first phase of a parking lot improvements, which will also make it work better as a parking lot and also as a pedestrian access. And then finally, on Thursday, we're going to talk about the Cherry Street Firehouse, which is a pretty big and complicated project, which is in design now. We're not going to touch on projects like the Iowa Department of Transportation's 380 project with the Penn Street interchange, even though that will have some obvious big impacts to North Liberty this summer and is expected to go through next year. We're also not going to talk about City of Coralville-led projects such as the Forevergreen Road extension between just there by North Central Junior High at 12th Avenue and right off of North Liberty Road, 1st Avenue in Coralville. You can find overviews of our projects and more information as we go at northlibertyowa.org/projects. You can also subscribe to updates, which includes closures as we learn about them and as they get scheduled at northlibertyowa.org/subscribe. And you're always welcome to email me at nburgess, that's BERGUS, at northlibertyowa.org. And my contact information will be on a slide at the end of the presentations. So with all that said, Mike, let's get into it. Let's talk about Forevergreen Road and Jasper Avenue. Let's talk a little bit about what that overview looks like and how and what people can expect from that project.
All right, thanks, Nick. So Forevergreen Road and Jasper Avenue improvements. This project has actually already been bid. It was in design for the last year. Had a letting in January. So this project, here's the limits you can see here. This is north is to the right on this one. The contractor, that was a low bid, was awarded to a joint venture of CJ Moyna and Sons and Progressive Structures with a low bid in the amount of just over $5 million. Construction timeline for this is basically any day now this spring until kind of end of fall through the construction season. So just for points of reference, like you can see the southbound I-380 off-ramp. This is Park Road in Tiffin. The funky intersection everybody in the area is well familiar with, where it's kind of the double offset T effect that is right through this area, with Quickstar being this location here. So the most important part of this project is installing a 2-lane roundabout on Forevergreen Road to get that traffic pattern cleaned up. And then along with it, we have reconstructing Jasper Avenue to the north of the roundabout through Quickstar, through Diamond Boulevard, all the way to where the North Liberty lift station is. There's kind of a fence line, tree line. This is existing gravel road. Along with this project, we're doing storm sewer. We have water main improvements, taking a water main along the east side of the road, and then creating a water main connection to Tiffin through the north and west side of the roundabout location. One other kind of fun fact with this one, this does provide future connection for pedestrian trail out to Covered Bridge. You can see here dashed in the green. So at the heart of this project, like I said, we have the roundabout that's at the junction of Coralville, Tiffin, North Liberty, Johnson County. You can see just a more zoomed in version. So in this image here, we have north is up. So we have Quickstar located in this northeast quadrant here. Just some depiction of what that center island of the roundabout will look like. So this would be a view facing west. So this would be looking towards that Park Road intersection up at the top here. Very similar color palettes to what we would see at the other North Liberty roundabouts that we've had, with a raised limestone wall and kind of some mounding. This one won't have the trees similar to what some of the other roundabouts have had due to the high energy lines that are actually going over the top of the roundabout area. Just other point of reference here, there is that massive utility pole that's located next to the intersection today. So today, if you go through that intersection, it is located on the kind of north side of the south connection to Tiffin, so right in this area. So you can see the new roundabout location puts that pole on the opposite side of the intersection. Yeah, that's kind of the nutshell of the scope here. Current work that you might be seeing going on out there, there's been a lot of staking and utility relocation work going on in advance of the project. Most of that should be wrapping up here in the next couple of weeks as the contractor starts to mobilize in and begin work on the phasing of this project. So through this all, 2 lanes of traffic will be maintained, 1 lane of traffic in each direction through Forevergreen Road. So there'll always be access to Tiffin. Jasper Avenue, north of Diamond Boulevard, north of Quick Star, that'll be closed for the duration of the project, but there will always be access to Quick Star. The project will be done in multiple phases just to accommodate getting traffic through the roundabout construction in itself, and through each one of the phases. The intersection will be set up as like a 3-leg stop controlled intersection. So at no point does that kind of double offset T effect that's there today, at no point does that reintroduce itself during the phasing of this project. So the phasing should actually improve upon the existing condition in itself too, which is a pretty unique one with roadway construction. That's kind of the project
Yeah.
in a
So
nutshell
let's,
for that.
yeah, so let's talk about a couple of things. First off, I think it's important to recognize, right, this project has been one that we've wanted to have done and move pretty quickly on, all things considered. We were thankful to help navigate some disagreements that we weren't a part of, and some litigation that allowed this project to proceed. That's one of the reasons that the city of North Liberty is leading this project, even though not all of it is in North Liberty. We are sharing some of the costs of the roundabout, but not of the Jasper Avenue work. 50% with the city of Tiffin itself, while the city of Coralville and the private property owners to the northwest have helped have provided easement access for this project. Other really exciting thing is that this project came in about $1.6 million under the estimate. So we feel really good about that. And the contractor is geared up to do a big road project, and we're working with them to see on what spaces we can where we can maybe move this forward a little bit faster than we might otherwise, right? So folks, when we take on a big complex project like this, right? Obviously there's property pieces that are really important here. And that sort of was one of the big holdups, though. We moved forward on design in a pretty condensed time, right? So from last year till now, we've designed the project and a bid and awarded the project, which is pretty good. How do you folks think about, Mike, how do you think about phasing this? And how does that process for you work, where we're trying to figure out how to get traffic through here, right? This is obviously a busy intersection, and it's only gotten busier. This used to just be where 2 gravel roads met, and now it's the connection point between North Liberty and Tiffin. It's a connection for Tiffin to the interstate. And it's where all of these jurisdictions come together. How do you think about how we phase this in a way that allows traffic to happen and come through?
Yeah, so I mean, clearly with any roadway project, a full closure is like the ideal situation from both a design and a construction aspect. And in general, if it's acceptable to the public, that becomes cheaper and faster. So it's kind of a triple win, quadruple win.
Yeah.
With a situation like this, where we are, we're right next to interstate, we're right next to a truck stop that needs to maintain that access. It becomes just kind of like separating out a puzzle, really, and seeing seeing how you can clip off pieces in one phase to still allow those 2 lanes of traffic to get through. And you factor in the utilities that have to go in with it, factor in the grading that has to go with it. There's a considerable amount of grading that goes in with this project. The intersection that we have right here in itself, just for perspective, it's lowering by a couple feet, whereas as we go north on Jasper, I mean, there's almost 8 to 10 feet where that road has to raise just to accommodate underground utilities and getting proper drainage through there. And with that phasing too, I mean, this one's a little bit unique from a lot of projects around North Liberty that we've done, because this needs to maintain not only just traffic, it needs to maintain like interstate size semi level of traffic. So as we're going through to plan out phasing, we're running truck turning movements just to make sure those vehicles can safely navigate everything through here. And then it becomes trying to implement temporary pavement, temporary roadway, temporary access situations, just to kind of eliminate that need to actually create that closure in the first place. So what it does, it extends the project timeline out a little bit, but with the massive benefit of at no point does traffic to Park Road get fully closed off from the interstate, which was, in the beginning, concept-wise of this project, it was anticipated at some point access to Park Road would be eliminated for a portion of a phase, and we were able to kind of jockey some construction areas around to make it a little bit more awkward for a contractor, but far less inconvenient for the general public. So that worked out very well.
That's great. We can switch if there are questions from folks in attendance. Please feel free. Oh, we've got a question here from Kent. Let me read this one. Regards to the temporary access in place during construction, with the construction and lane restrictions currently in place at the Penn I-380 overpass, the Forevergreen Jasper work will be affecting another source of bicycle access to the roads to the west of I-380. Will temporary access roads include provisions for cyclists?
As of right now, temporary access roads are just accommodating the 12-foot lane with 2-foot shoulder. So it's going to be that 14-foot paved strip, similar to what we would see on other paved kind of rural-esque type of roadways. There is not a specific bike lane being added in to the temporary drives.
And so while we will have future accommodations, off-road accommodations here, there aren't those for that during construction.
Correct.
To answer your question, Kent. Is there anything else that's that if we've got any other questions, we'll happily take those. Is there any other information that you think is critical, Michael or Josiah, or Nicholas, to convey about this project?
I think I was just going to chime in there, Nick.
Yeah.
That Michael was talking about the access through and the question about bikes.
Yeah.
Mike, if I have this right, when we have temporary access through there, we still generally have a 3-way stop or an all-way stop.
Correct.
Condition. Yep. So that will help. Obviously, there's no bike lanes, room to accommodate that, but we don't have traffic free flowing through the intersection. Everybody needs to come to a stop. So while it's not a bike lane, it certainly should slow down traffic. And, today it's all on-road access for bikes today. So at least that will provide you an opportunity to get in the line and to share that space, I think.
Thank you, Josiah. Oh, and I just saw a floating thumbs up. That's amazing. I love the internet. Well, unless there are additional questions, this is of course recorded, and we'll post we will post this in its entirety on our projects page, which is at northlibertyowa.org/projects. Don't forget, you can subscribe to project updates, including closures, at northlibertyowa.org/subscribe. And you can email or call me right there on the screen. Nick Burgess is my name, NBERGUS at northlibertyowa.org. And that's my office line, 319-626-5756. I am always happy to answer questions. And if I don't know the answer, I will get it for you. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be back to talk about the final phase of Ranch Hall Way, which is currently in design for construction next year. And then on Wednesday, we'll be talking about the Centennial Park splash pad. That's the second phase of that park's development, as well as some improvements to the community center parking lot, which will both begin this year. And then finally on Thursday, we're going to come back and talk about the Cherry Street Firehouse and the plans there, which is an exciting and big project and will partially be funded by the voter approved local option sales tax starting that will come into effect this July 1. And with that, I hope everybody has a chance to get outside and enjoy the sun, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.